Great, folks. Good morning. My name is Dwight Dorsey, and I work on the In-Force Illustration team. And what we're going to do today is we're going to run some In-Force illustrations. And this is available right out on the agent portal. So when you go out to your agent portal, you just want to go out to www.nationallife.com as you would to, rent a new illustration or pull up a form or materials. So once you go out to there, you're going to log in. You're going to put your user ID and your password and just click on that orange login button. And you'll see business tools right there on the left. The top line of business tools is forms and materials, then illustrations, and that's the one you've been using to generate your new illustrations. You're going to go to the third one down that says In-Force Illustrations, okay? So that's what we're working on today is In-Force Illustrations. So I went out on my site, but then after you get there, it will look just like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to key in a policy number, and we can key in, different types of policies. I'm going to do a basic little policy at first here, and then we'll do some Flex Life 2, and then next month we'll be starting Peak Life. So the Peak Life you can do as a new sales illustration, but In-Force will be available here within a month. So I'm going to type in NL2. Okay. So now I went in. We're not in test. We're in real life. We're going to go to death benefit and funding. Here we go. Okay. So this policy is a $300,000 face amount. Okay. And we own this is your primary change screen, your death benefit funding. So we got $300,000. Here's a specific amount. You see 2 through M, which means it's going to assume $300,000 from here to maturity. The initial type of death benefit option is increasing, and it's going to continue to do that, all right? And then if you scroll down further, you see premium amount. It's currently billing at $1,000, and you see it's set up for EFT monthly. If you want to change that, if they say, hey, we want to go off EFT and we want to go to quarterly, then you can do that. You can change the quarterly option, okay? And then, you were at monthly. If they want to go, if they still want to pay they want to pay quarterly, then just type in $3,000. Now we got quarterly. You're still getting your $12,000 a year. We can go over here to Quick View. Quick View is a nice feature with these Flex Life and the Peak Life and the other newer products. You don't have to generate the illustration to see how it's working. You can take a quick look at it. So you see that planned premium here. $12,000 is going through, and it's going through nicely. There's no issues with deferral being limited. You see the net death benefits increasing. And what's happening is, see how the face amount up at the top here, remember, is $300,000, right? The initial face amount. So you've got accumulated value at the end of year 2 of $72,000 and change. That's why your net death benefit is $372. On increasing death benefit, your net death benefit is your face amount plus your accumulated cash when we don't have loans to consider. So then 84,000, so 384. And so you look down here by 70, you've got 289,000. So 289 plus 300, you're up to 589,000. This line is. So that's how we can look at that. So we go death benefit and funding. If you wanted to make different changes, you could. So now to run it as is, okay, let's go back. And as is, as it is just without making any changes. So we'll go back here to EFT, okay, and we're going to go back to 1,000, okay. The other thing we could have done is we could have just done clear like this. And what that does is that clears your changes. So if you're up here and you're messing around with something, you just want to clear it, you can press clear, okay. So here, I'll show you. So let's say it was here, and you wanted to go back to that 1,000. You could type 1,000 in like I just did, or you could just press clear and see how it brings you back. Either way works. So to run a report, you go over here to reports, alrighty. And if you want to do a producer override, you can. When I send them out, I just send them out National Life. Okay, your name's going to appear here as the person doing it. So if you wanted it for someone else, if the agent, maybe you're in the office and you're doing it for someone else, and you wanted to go out for Agent Smith, you can just say Agent Smith, and put that in there. So then when it goes out, it's going to show that. So here you can also include this information here. You probably don't need monthly low points. That's for premium finance stuff. But here, statutory premium information. If you want to include the MEC and the debt from guideline information, you want to check that box off. And I always like to do it. If they want to know if the funding is going to create a MEC, if the face decreases, this will show. So I always check that off. The other thing I check off is policy and expenses. Okay. And as I said, remember, you get your quick view to look at it. Now, to run that, you just hit run report here, or back there you could have done it. You just say run report. Okay. So normally you would just do the run report and there we go. So pop-up blocker there. So here's your report. It looks just like your new sales illustration, all righty? You get your puzzle piece at the front, okay? And we scroll down through this, and your ABR information is at the front. You've asked for that, and we're including it now on the newer products. All your crediting information. So you want to scroll, and then you want to scroll through the guaranteed pages, and you want to go right here to where you see current illustrated rate, okay? Here's where you're going to see the interest rate swooping at the current, okay? So this is by, you see the money going in, the cash value building. And again, this is an illustration. This illustration goes ahead and it follows NAIC, which is National Association of Insurance Commissioners. So they came up with some max guidelines a while ago, and see how this is split up. These strategies are split up 10% into the fixed, 20 into strategy 1, 20 to strategy 2, okay? And they're all illustrating at that current rate, okay? And here's your current rates. Now, if you want to change that and you say, hey, clients, again, I really want to maximize this, and I want to illustrate this at the 6.88 strategy 1, we can go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to close out of that with that little X. And right over here under interest rates, okay, you go ahead and make changes. This first column allows you to make changes to the allocation, okay? So right here, the only thing that has to happen, they have to add up to 100. And you see how you're fixed, so you can just go 0 for fixed, and we can say 100 for strategy 1. Now you can see right here, see this little X? What it's telling you is the way we've got it set up right now is the sum of that allocation exceeds 100%. So anytime you see this little red X while you're doing something, just go over, hover over it, and read what it is. So we know we got to be under 100. I mean, at 100. So we go 0, 0. You see it dropping down until now. Oops, I missed one. 0. We're at 100. The red X has disappeared. Now, when we go ahead and illustrate that, it's going to show this. It's going to show this rate. Okay. So 3%, 3% of the basic, and then everything going in over the cost of insurance, and those expenses will sweep. And in real life, you know, strategy 1 sweeping at 12.5%. So let's just run it this time. Okay. So we're going to scroll down to our current pages, and you see the higher interest rate. So we went ahead and said, hey, you know, they wanted something better. That they can go ahead and, or they want a different strategy. You can go ahead and illustrate that. So let's go back and make some changes. So if we're going in here, okay, let's say they wanted to, you know, stop the premium payment at some point. Let's go back to client information. So this was elite non-tobacco, 1960, so issued at 57. Let's say they kept it for 20, let's say they paid premium for 20 years then, okay? So what happens, let's say the client only wants to pay premium for 20 years. We can go down here and we can say right here, 2 through 20, okay? Or actually 2 through 19, 2 through 20. And what we'll do is we can go over here, look at the quick view, and you can see the premium payments are through policy year 20, age 76. And then you can say, hey, does that work? And look, it still works. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel for them if they want. They can stop their premium payments, and coverage continues, and that death benefit continues to increase along the cash benefits. Another way of doing that, we have put in a year here to stop. You can stop it also on age. So you can go ahead here, and it tells you the different ways to do it. Okay, here we just clicked on, and you see here A. This means age. So we can go ahead and do that as well. So I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to say, we're in year 2, but we're going to say age 76 because we saw they were 76. So I just put an A in front of it, okay? We go out and look at it, and that means that premium is going to be assumed to be paid starting here in year 2 and continuing through age 76. And look at that. It works. So you can do that, all righty? You could also go ahead and you could say, hey, maybe they don't want to pay all this money, okay? Maybe they say, hey, I just want $300,000 in coverage, or maybe they want the increasing death benefit, but they don't want to pay the extra, and they want to solve for minimum to maturity. We can go ahead and do that. You can go down here, okay? And instead of, right now we've been on specific, we could do solve for premium. Or let's say they want to stop premium payments for a while. Let's say we're in year 2. They say let's say in 3 more years, so year 5, they got a kid going to college, and they want to, at that time, they want to stop making payments for a little bit. Can they do that? Okay, you can go ahead and add a row and say 6 through 10. 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's say 6 through 9 because for 4 years we don't want the kid going to school for 5 years. And okay, what do we get? Oh, so we'll just say I don't know what minimum monthly premium is. I'm scrolling down here. If you go back to in-force policy values, we can see minimum monthly premium is $311.93. So I'm going to go back here and I'm going to say, hey, they were paying $1,000 in, and then they just want to drop down to minimum monthly. So I'm dropping down to $312 a month. Okay. And then after college is out, they started back up. Okay. For that 20-year period. And we can go ahead and look at that. And you see they paid the $12,000. Kids are in college, so they drop that down to the minimum monthly premium. Both the death benefit and policy values continue to grow, so they're okay with this. They funnel the more money to the kid so they can go to college. And then after the kid's out of college, they start back up with their policy. And then they have this money or this cash value left over for retirement. So looking at retirement, we're saying to ourselves, hey, what can they have for retirement? So if we wanted to, we could say year 21, they want to start taking income. You can go down here, see distribution information. If you just click on here and you say solve for income, okay, it will pre-fill and then you can make a change the year the premium stops. So the premium stopped at year 20, so it assumes if you're going to start income, it'd be year 21. And this person's older in this situation, so we can look at this. They're going to solve for income, okay? And did that work? Well, we go over here to Quick View, and we can see them that they paid this money in, okay? And then they're pulling 10,000 out, and we left the death benefit increasing. And you see, by doing that, we're looking at a death benefit right here that is $1 million from age 90 to 104. So this allows them to pull a little bit of cash out, okay? But it still allows them to have some death benefit for those kids, or that kid. If they wanted to maximize it, they said, hey, you know, I don't really care about death benefit. I just wanted to maximize what I could take out for income. And let's go back to our death benefit and funding, okay? And remember, we're at increasing death benefit. So the funding stops in year 19. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this to level. So what it assumes is at increasing, but in year 20, we're changing to level, okay? The other thing I'm going to do is they said they don't care about the death benefit, right? So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to add a row. And I'm going to go back 2-19. So we're going to keep our 300,000. We're going to keep our 300,000 from 2-19. And then I'm going to go from 20 to M, which is beginning policy year 20 to maturity. I want to drop that. And I know Flex Life can decrease. Let's say you wanted to decrease the lowest, or let's say you try to put 25 in. So boom, you get a little yellow. Yep. So that works. Under the old Flex Life, I think you guys remember under your LSW stuff, it was 100,000 minimum, but now it's 25 and matched up with the NL. So you can go ahead and let's take a quick view and see what did that do to that income. The income was about 10,000 before. Now what we've done is we've increased that income to 43,000 a year. But look what we've done. We've gone ahead and said, hey, we're going to level income and we're decreasing that. But they still get some death benefit here, okay? So, you know, in their 80s, they got 300,000, okay? It's moving down slowly. By 95, it's 104. But they've been pulling out 43,000 in income here, in loan income, which is great, okay? So if they like the looks of this, you can go ahead, remember, you can go over to reports. The two things we wanted to click on, statutory premium information and expenses. And then you just want to go ahead and run that report. So we're going to scroll down our current pages. There's our current. And there's the 12,000. There's the 43,000 coming out. And it just continues to go out with the coverage continuing to maturity. So here's a nice income illustration that was paying $1,000 a month, shut the money down a little bit during the college years, and still pulled an income out. Okay, so those are the types of things you can do to enforce policy. Let's go try another one. Okay, so we were going to solve to maturity. Let's go back here, death benefit and funding. Let's just say, let's get rid of this 300,000. Let's say they came and said, you know, money's tight. I do want the death benefit. I guess I'm not gonna plan for income on this, and then other sources, whatever. But they would want the 300,000. So we're in year 2 right now, right? And there's a little red, so we hover over that, remember, and it tells us, hey, we're not going to maturity. So we only have 2-19. What's that face out doing? So I'm going to go 2 to M because I want the 300,000. Get rid of that red dot. I'm going to say down here, I want to go to level right now in year 2. Okay. And then I'm going to get rid of all of this. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to solve for premium. And I'm going to go 2 to 100. Okay. Let's just say, or let's just say they only want to pay 2 to 20, remember? 2 to 20. He only wants to pay premium for 20 years. So I'm saying 2 through 20. And by saying this, and I'll show you the difference, we're saying that the premium is only going to be paid 2 through 20. Okay? But then after you plug that in, okay, what you want to do is you want to go down to the bottom here. See this thing that says solve? I'm going to say solve to endow is so that the face amount and the cash value are the same. You can do that if you'd like. I'm going to do net surrender value is 1,000, okay, because he wanted minimum. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick view. And instead of paying that $12,000 a year, okay, he's got himself a policy with $363,000 death benefit level. Look at that going through. And he's only paying this $1,000 a year, okay, for 20 years, okay? Then he stops, and then you notice coverage continues, okay? Coverage starts to decrease, but it still continues on. You know, it's dropping quite a bit, 208 to 175 to 128, but coverage continues, and that's what we want to see. So here's a minimum premium to maturity, assuming premiums are only paid for 20 years. So you don't have to cancel a policy if they come in and say, hey, we can't afford this. You can change it to this for them. And then if they decide a couple of years later, you know, I've got a better job back, you know, I came to some money, I want to put that back in there, they can do that. Okay? Yeah. So let's take a look at another one. So we're going to, let me just see if there's any questions. If you do have riders and you want to remove them off, you can. Death benefit protection rider doesn't cost anything as long as you're paying the premium. You know, it's gonna need that MGP test. You know, minimum monthly premium applies for the first 10 years, and when you have that death benefit protection rider, it goes 20 or 25 years. So that's great. If you had an other insured rider or something that costs money, maybe a benefit balance rider or something. Balance sheet benefit rider, you could go ahead and remove that if you wanted to remove it. All these riders the ABR riders are included, so there's no reason to remove those. So those are your primary screens. I'm going to go up here. So if you have another policy number, let's say you worked on the husband's policy, now you're working on the wife's, you just hit exit up here. And are you sure you want to exit? You don't want to save this on the new business stuff. You want to save what you're working on because you're going to go back in and save your cases, right? But here you don't want to, okay? So you want to save out a bit. So on your new business stuff, remember how that looks. I'll just go out here. Okay, remember, here's your new business. So when you do your new business, remember, typically you go in and you click on new illustration, and then you're going to click on your state, and you fill all this in. We're past that on the in-force stuff because it's already done, right? So when it's already filled, you don't have to go back and reinvent this already. You want to go with the in-force, because if you're going with the in-force illustration, it's going to reflect all the premiums paid with the specific premium dates, any changes made to the policy. If you try to recreate it like this, it won't be 100% accurate. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of that. Okay, oops, I exited too far, I guess, folks. Okay, so I'm going to go exit out of that. Oh, fruitcake. Well, to go back, we're going to put a policy number in. Click on here. Okay, and we want to hit on illustrations. And it just always does that on the new stuff, the Flex Life, the UAT, the Peak Life, it redirects you to Foresight, and that redirects you to the same place where, you know, your sales illustrations are generated. So it helps because it gives you the same look. You don't have to look at two different screens. So again, our primary screen that we want to make changes is death benefit and funding, okay? And under that, we can do the death benefit, the premium, we can solve, whatever. So we're going to go into this, okay? And we've got a large face amount with some additional protection benefit, okay? And they're paying $234,000 premium. So let's go ahead and make a change to that. If we just wanted to see what it looked like, okay, it just gets bigger and bigger, but no one's really going to be paying, well, some people could, $234 a year. Let's just say they're going to stop paying premium, okay? So we'll say, hey, we're going to pay that premium for 10 years, 2-10, okay? And how's it look? We go over here. They pay the premium for 10 years, 58. They stop, and it continues on. Maybe he says, "Hey, I'm going to work to 65. I want to pay that through age 60." So we'll go back here, death benefit and funding. Okay, we'll just change that 2 to 12. Okay. And then maybe he says, after that, let's go ahead and after I'm 60, I can drop some of that death benefit, So let's go ahead and do that. Let's say you're 13. Let's go to level. Okay. And at the same time, let's go ahead and get rid of that additional protection benefit. Now we'll say add a row, 0. Okay, so we're paying the premium 2 through 12. We're going to leave all that coverage there, and then we're going to stop it. So remember, paying it through year 12, age 60. Then what we did was we went to level, and we dropped that additional protection benefit on it. So we're looking at now $6.3 million because what it did drop it down, but you also had that cash value, the accumulated cash value of the policy when you change it over. So look at this. They've stopped. That keeps that 6.3, but by this point in time, look at this. The cash value is building up. So by age 70, they're at 6 million cash value already. So they could have this continue to build for some sort of trust or whatever, or for their kids. Or maybe they say, hey, let's take some money out of this too. So we've gone ahead and we're saying at 65, so policy year 17, or at 65, let's start taking some money out. We go back to our death benefit and funding, okay? And we go down here to distribution, and we say solve for income. Now remember, it's plugged in 13, right? We don't want to start at 13 because that's when that's when they were 61, right? So we want to say age 65 to maturity. Okay, so now what we've said is beginning age 65, we're going to start pulling loan income out. So what we're going to have a few years of nothing happening. So we go back over to Quick View, pays the premium in, then we have a couple of years of no premium coming out. We went to level and we got rid of that additional protection benefit. We still had over $6 million in death benefit. And here at 65, they start pulling income out, and they're pulling out $396,000. Okay, and that's going to continue to maturity. And even here, look, they're looking at excess of $1 million in death benefit too. So they could do that if they wanted this to increase their death benefit to increase. They could certainly play around with that. Let's say, hey, he said, I do want to leave some for the kids. Will this work? Can I keep my death benefit increasing possibly, and still pull some income out? You can go back and mess with it and find out what you can do. Best way you could say, let's see how that looks if we left it increasing. Okay, let's do the same thing. But down here on remember they took 396 or so on our distribution. We're going to say a named amount. Let's just go ahead and say how about $200,000 a year? Okay, and we wanted that to be age 65 to age 95. Okay, so it's through, so we'll go there. So now when we do a quick view, pay the premium in, we stop it, we left it increasing, remember folks, because this way we're not pulling all the cash value out. We knew we weren't. And look at our death benefit. Now they get to have that honking death benefit and still pull $200,000 out a year. Okay, so they put $234 in for 10 years, but they get $200,000 out for 30 years, right? With this sort of death benefit. So at 85 years old, we're looking at a net death benefit of $10 million. So this is certainly, if you get someone, you can make these policies sell themselves, or they work if the money gets put in. So you don't want to overstate your death benefit, but we can make big changes. Let's say the person said, hey, that's just too much. Remember, you can decrease this too. So we could go ahead and if you wanted to do max decrease, right? Let's say we want to do year 8, not to MEC it. So we'll say 2 through 7, it keeps this. And then in year 8, you wanted to assume max decrease. We got rid of the additional protection benefit, and then I'm just going to type in 100,000, let's say, for this. Okay, it's never going to get that low, right? And then we said we wanted to go level year 8, okay? And we want to go, we got rid of the distribution, right? Because they're not going to take any loans. They wanted max face decrease. Because we couldn't do reduced paid out like a whole life policy, but we can take the face down. And then we're just going to go back here and we'll say solve. And we're going to say, again, 2 through 20, they want to pay. Right? And then we go down here and say net surrender 1,000. Do this last one. So what we've done here is we've said, hey, we're trying to solve for as little amount of money possible at the end, at maturity, $1,000. We go ahead and we get rid of the loan interest, the low income, okay? And we said we'll pay premiums for 20 years, but we want a lower premium. That's why we're solving with this decrease. So now when we go over here, they were paying what? 200 and I can't remember, 200 something $1,000 a year, 256 or 46. Now they're paying $25,000 a year. We've decreased the face amount, you know, starting year 8 right here, 3.5, 2.6, and then you see it levels off finally in year 9, 254. So that's the lowest face amount we can get, is down to 2,584,000. Okay, still a good amount of death benefit, right? But by doing this, you notice the cash values are building too. So they have access to this cash if they want it at a later date, right? Or they can just let this thing continue, you know, and it builds, okay? And maybe they don't want to go to level death benefit. We can go back and say, hey, you know, we noticed 2.5 million works to maturity, right, for that 25. So would that same thing work if we said, hey, we want to leave it increasing? And, you know, and then they say, hey, we're okay to pay, you know, $26,000 a year, because that's what we just looked at for those 20 years. How's that work? We go over here and we look, here's that $26,000 a year through year 20. We left the death benefit increasing, and is it enough wheels? And look, it is. So it is above, I mean, those initial years, it's not up to 2.5 million, but look, by age 74, you're above the 2.5 million because you put enough into it, and it continues to run. You know, you're above 2 million through age, through age 100. You know, then it drops down a little. So if they didn't want to chance this and see this, maybe they want to pay a little bit more. You know, they could go back and say, you know what? That works. I can afford 30, and we've gone 30 in a year. And that should be enough. Now, if you look at it, you know, look, it's up to 106, and we got above 2 million through 104. So that's a much better safety net. You're still at 96,000. You're at 4 million, you know, and they can play around with that. So there's lots of options on this in-force system. Remember, if you do have a policy and the client says, hey, I can't afford this, there's been a life change, this, whatever, you know, we can help. You know, in this in-force illustration, you've got it already set up, you've got a good rating on something, you know, don't cancel it if you don't have to, you know. And again, you can reach out to me at any time. Jane Hall is on the team and Christina Hudson. Our email address for the team is customerservice@nationallife.com. I didn't see the chat, folks, so remember, and my email address is just ddorsey@nationallife.com. Okay, and then remember, it's life customer service at nationallife.com. And remember, we've got Christina Hudson, and she works on agent quotes with me. So you can reach out to her. The other person is Jane Hall. She's a team lead. You know, she's worked at National Life for 30 years. She's very knowledgeable. So you can always reach out to Jane Hall, team lead. Okay. She does other, you know, she does conservation work too. So we got all those people. Now let's look at what we've got here. I'm going to email anybody who wants the link on how to generate illustrations. They can email me, but I wrote down Sherry Lee Thomas. She requested it, and then we got increasing death benefit. Each year, death benefit costs more because the client is older, right? We got Charlotte, Hagos. Okay, yeah, and different death benefit options, depending if you funded it, though, and if the goal is for death benefit, you may want increasing death benefit. If the goal, you know, and at some point you may want to change it after you stuck the money in it and the money's stopped, you may want to change it to level, and you take all that accumulated cash you've got, and you can go ahead and fix it. So, like, remember, on this particular one, you see how it keeps building, right? So you could go ahead and change that. Maybe after it gets 2.5 million cash value, you know, you want to go ahead and change it. You you can go ahead and change it. So go out, give it a try on some policies. If you need any assistance, remember you can reach out to any of us and we'll be assistants. You call the contact center and say, hey, I'm working on this one. Have someone call me or get transferred over. You can also get transferred over because I don't know who's working what day or who's available, but we're all there and we're there to help. And again, Peak Life's coming out within the month, and that will be available for In-Force. So if you do have any Peak Life that are coming up on their 1-year anniversary, you can provide your client with an In-Force illustration or take a look. In-Force illustrations are a great way to keep in contact with your client. Maybe you wrote something at minimum monthly premium and the goal was to go ahead and increase that premium. Then it's a good time to show them. You can say, hey, here's your illustration of minimum monthly premium, coverage continues for 25 years, then it lapses. Send that out. And then you can say, hey, here's one increasing to, and solve to age 100 or 110 or 120, minimum monthly, or, round it up, a little bit and so that it works for them. Because remember, if they're paying a little bit of money, there's more money just going into that basic strategy. So you got that 3%. And the more money that you put in, that extra money above what's in the basic strategy goes into those index strategies. And remember, if we look at those index strategies, they have a higher return. So I guess we're good. It's 11:42. I do apologize for the initial problems that we had with it, but when you go out, you won't have that. It's because I'm in an environment where we're sharing our screens and going through tests, to have policy numbers that say Joe Smith instead of a real client's name. Again, let me know if you have any questions, and we'd be happy to help. And watch for that video that's coming out because that's very nice too. Alrighty, thanks, folks.